Hey, what's up, guys? This is Young and Saved. I'm Jacob Alger. This is Dalton Norman. We're two juniors from Mouse High School in Leander, Texas. And we just recently created our page. We're just really looking to get started. Basically, our goal for the page to share with you guys is just to share the gospel. We're going to be talking on all different topics. Y'all comment below and let us know what y'all like to hear a message about, and we'd love to do it, so y'all just let us know. But for this first video, we just want to kind of introduce who we are, what our lives have been like, our walk with Christ, how we've grown and everything, just so y'all know who we are, and kind of where we're coming from. So I think Dalton's going to start us off and then move along.
Yeah, definitely sounds good, man. Yeah, this was definitely on my heart, man. Just like we're complete disciples for Christ, man, and he works through us so we can live what he wants us to be like, you know, so we can preach to others, you know, get his word out there. Because in the end, you know, like my man Jacob always says, you know, when we get to the gates of heaven, he's not going to be like, hey, you know, you're not allowed in because you lost that basketball game, or, you know, just something that's completely irrelevant. You know, he's going to like, hey, what'd you do for me? How'd you get me into other people's lives? And, you know, so when it comes to the testimony part, you know, I grew up in a really well-rounded Christian family. You know, church was always a big thing every Sunday, you know, and then I'd go to church on Wednesday night, CCD, like the class we had growing up and stuff. You know, for the longest time, like, I accepted Christ at a really young age, but I didn't completely understand, like, having a solid relationship with Christ, honestly. Like, I really, a lot of times, just felt obligated to go. And you know, as I grew up, I completely, like, started to understand what it's really like, you know, to live for Christ, you know, and be a disciple for Him, you know. You know, and I know living what we preach is one thing that's really difficult, but when you're willing to completely understand that lifestyle and you're willing to, you know, surrender yourself to Him, it's going to be a lot easier to live for Him, you know, daily, you know, because that's what He wants us to do in the end. And, you know, I've had my fair share of trials, I really have, and, you know, it's really humbled me, like, through the multiple opportunities I've had. My faith has really grown. I've had some great people to help me out through it, and, you know, I found a lot of comfort in my friends and family and falling back in Christ, you know, and knowing that nothing satisfies like that complete unconditional love and grace, you know, that's really overwhelming. And, you know, one thing I always talk to people about is, you know, Christ isn't going to give you anything you can't handle, and your relationship with Him grows, you know, and He knows you're strong enough to overcome everything that He puts in your way, like that like I said, your relationship with Him grows through that, and He'll reward you in the end. And, you know, and I've learned to have complete confidence in His plan for me, you know, and I know that's one thing that we all struggle with, you know, but, I mean, He has nothing but the best for us, you know, and He wants nothing but the best for us. And, you know, I don't know if you guys know what unconditional love is, but dying on the cross for a sinful world is definitely unconditional love, you know, so if you're up to having full confidence in His plan for you, it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it, you know, so I'm going to leave you guys with that and pass it on over to Jacob.
Yeah, you know, before I get started, a large part of my testimony is actually the fact that I thought that I didn't have a testimony, just because you kind of hear it often that, you know, something really bad happens in somebody's life, and they kind of see Christ through that and come closer to God through that, and I never really had that bad moment in my life, and so I never thought, for the longest time, I thought I didn't have a testimony, and that was one of the biggest lies that the devil tried to lead me to as I was growing up, and you know, it's completely not true. I have a story, you have a story, everybody has a story, and it's simply the matter of how Christ has raised us up, how's He grown you. And so I'm just going to kind of dive into my testimony. I grew up in a Christian home. If any of you know my parents, I have amazing parents, real godly leaders in my life, and that's just been a huge blessing to me. Just growing up in a Christian home, and I'm very incredibly thankful for it. My brother is a well-rounded Christian. He's a solid guy. Just really looked up to him growing up, and kind of where I was. I was at that point where I was doing what I could to please my parents. I was doing what I could to follow in my brother's footsteps. And my brother was an FCA leader. We'd go to church every Sunday. He would lead in church. And so I kind of fell into this routine of, okay, I'm going to follow in my brother's footsteps. I'm going to do what my brother does because that'll please my parents. And, all the while looking like a good Christian. I'm going to look like a good Christian. And, the whole part of my testimony is that it is not about that. It is not about going to church. It's not about trying to follow in somebody else's footsteps. It's about your relationship with Christ. And that's something I really found out as I started getting in the Word. That's where it really started for me. That's where it all started coming together. And it started with one verse, Matthew 5:11, that says, "Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me." And so I read this in about 7th grade. And I was like, wow. Okay, this stuff in the Bible, man, it applies to my life. That if I'm speaking the word, if I'm sharing the message of Christ, and somebody wants to persecute me because of that, if they want to insult me and try to tear me down because of that, I'm blessed. And that opened up all kinds of doors for me that I'd never seen before. And I was no longer ashamed to share this message of salvation. That I now realized, okay, this is what He's done for me, and I'm going to share this with other people so that they can experience that same unconditional love. And moving on into my 8th grade year, I became a more unashamed leader, if you will, in FCA. Really started speaking out in that and growing in that. And my 8th grade the winter of my 8th grade year, we have a Disciple Now event. And my youth leader, his name was Adam Watson, he was on a basketball scholarship, and he on a full ride, so he was a great, phenomenal player. And just previously before, he had gotten cancer in his leg and had to get 6 inches of his femur removed. And so he was done. His college basketball career was done. And so going into this D-Now event, he was leading us. He was on his crutches, and he was non-weight bearing, so he couldn't even use his leg. And we're entering into this time of worship at my church at this event, and I look over and I see Adam with just both of his hands raised, just praising the Lord. And I'm like, man, that's a relationship. That's something that I want right there. That is true, genuine love for Christ right there. And that's something that only the Lord can put in your heart. And I was like, I want that. And so just kind of through those events, and then just that next summer I went to FCA camp and just completely wrecked my life. Jesus just did so much in my heart and just pounded me. And, I'm just incredibly thankful for that. And from that moment on, just from those 2 different events, the Lord's just been constantly working in my life, just really moving in me, challenging me, humbling me, and just really seeing what it is to be in a relationship with Him and to live that out. It's been such a blessing. And so we just wanted to share this stuff with you. We want to share our testimonies with you so y'all know where we are, where we're coming from, just kind of our backgrounds as a little intro. And we hope y'all are encouraged by it. You have a story, we have our stories, and share that story. You're given that story for a very unique purpose. Whether you've been through trials and tribulations of all different kinds, share that. Share how Christ has brought you through that, because that's your story. And if you're like me, where you hadn't really had that much going on in your life, you still have a story. Christ has done so much in my life that if I bought into that lie of saying I don't have a testimony, that's completely false. And that's what the devil wants you to believe. So I encourage you guys, share your story, live that out, share it with other people. So
yeah, definitely, man. I wouldn't be who I am today without everything that He's put in my life. I've definitely been blessed, and I have great friends and family, like Jacob, that can keep me accountable, and I just know, I have complete confidence, and I just know that He knows where my heart stands, and He knows what I'm about, And just
Alright,
one
so
verse, Psalms
Psalms
23, verse 4 through 6. It says, "Even I walk through the dark valley, I fear no harm, for you are at my side. Your rod and your staff give me courage. You set the tables before me as my enemies watch. You anoint my head with oil, and my cup overflows. Only goodness and love will pursue me all the days of my life. I will dwell in the house of the Lord for years to come." And like I said, guys, I found complete peace and serenity in that. Nothing satisfies like the love of Christ. Nothing will fill that void in your heart. That is just genuine love, man. It says it in the Bible. God is love, man. So I pray for you guys, that you're willing to let Him come and work in your life, because that's all He wants. He wants the best for all of us, and if we're willing to give ourselves up to Him, He will make our path straight. It's not going to be easy, but like I always say, it's going to be worth it. So I think we're going to end it on that note, and stay tuned, because we'll probably have a video next week too. Leave some comments below so we can see what we're working with.
Yeah, absolutely. And just one more thing before we kind of close it out. Follow me and him on Twitter. I'm at JacobAlger25. Let us know anything. If you're struggling with something and you just need to share it with somebody, if you need us to pray for you, we'd absolutely love to do that. And we're here for you guys, and we're here to hopefully show y'all and lead y'all a little bit closer to Christ, and that's our one goal. We love you guys, and y'all stay blessed.
Going in like my first name is Holiday. Nothing to lose, I already gave it all away. To the Father pray, you see that money got